So I think so often we want God to operate with us in this way. We just want God to tell us what to do. Because if he tells us what to do, it takes away the responsibility. If he tells us what to do, it eliminates all the risks. Because if it doesn't work out, God said it, not me. And so often what control does is, and I think the way that we think that God is controlling is because control is another word for safety. And when God can control our life, then we can live a safe life. We can lower the bar and we can live less than, and we can act like we're living by faith, but when we're really just living by safety. See, if you can control your life, it is not the life God created you to live. See, God wants to set us free. He does not want to control our choices. No, he wants to actually help us get back in alignment so that we have the courage to choose the life that will create the most good. I can't tell you how many moments in my life I have prayed and asked God to tell me what to do because I did not have the courage to act. That I was just a coward. And I wanted God to give me an out. I wanted God to make the choice for me. And whenever I put God in that position, he will never make the choice for me because he cares way too much he cares way more about my freedom than he does about my compliance. See, God does not just want you to comply. He wants you to live free. And there's this powerful passage in Psalm that I love where it says, when you have this hunger for God, when you delight yourself in the Lord, he will give you the desires of your heart. You know what that says? When you care about me, when you align your heart with me, when you do the hard work to position your spirit to receive everything from me, you do not have to ask what to do. The future is your playground. And he says, go, create. See, God is not controlling. He does not want to tell you what to do. He's trying to teach you how to think. But I know you don't believe that. I know you think God's so concerned with you getting it right. And look at the 10 Commandments. Right? Exodus chapter 20. And I thought it was interesting just going through. These are the 10 Commandments, right? These are like the things that, it's coming, I promise, yeah? These are the things that God wanted us to understand that truly matter. And I love this, that it broken down into two sections, right? You have how we relate to God and how we relate to each other. And first it says, right, you should have no gods before me. You should not make idols. You should not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. These are the conversations that God is saying I want you to have with me, the things that truly matter. And then it's so interesting, on the other side, we have how we relate to each other. We think that God is so focused on me and God, me and God, me and God. Even in the 10 Commandments, he cared more about how we treat each other than we treat him. He wanted you to know that the way you treat your brother will be a reflection of how you see me. That's actually what matters. And then look at this. How we're supposed to relate to each other. This is what God says. Honor your father and mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet. Isn't it crazy how unreasonable God is? Can you believe the standards that he has for us? You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. See, the way that we view the commandments from God is that we think God's a stickler. We think God is a fun sucker. We think God is trying to to just manipulate us to do the things we're supposed to do, and he's just like so constricting. We look at the commandments like they are this revolutionary, unreasonable way to live when we don't realize this is the baseline for how we are always supposed to treat one another. Now, think about this, right? When the Ten Commandments are entered into the human story, when like Moses has this moment on this mountain with God, and he says, this is the new establishment of what it means to be human. Think about this. What kind of world had to exist where we had to be reminded not to kill each other? Imagine the world that we had created, that we did not actually value one another's property. That there was not something in us that felt it was wrong to steal another man's wife. Because we thought that the world belonged to us. And this is the conversation that from the beginning God still is having with us. Is that we care more about ourselves than we do the people around us. And here's the other misconception we have about God, is that God wants to control how I live. But here's the reality, the truth of the matter. He wants to change what you care about. See, because God knows if I can change what you care about, it will have a direct correlation on how you live. See, I am my most human self when I'm being led by love. How about you? See, I look most human when I'm thinking about the impact of my choices, not on how it simply impacts me, but how it impacts those around me. And every single time when I feel, you ever been like, I'm in the current of like, just life is good. I know you feel like you can't brag, but you ever been like, I'm good? Right? I got head nods. Am I good? Right? It's like, yeah, you can be honest. Because you can say I'm good because there's a time you're like, yo, I'm bad. We all had an I'm bad season or moment. The shift is like, okay, how do I move from season to moment to new lifestyle, to new choices, right? And there's this reality that God is trying to get us in this space when we care about other people more than ourselves, when love goes ahead of us, when love goes before us, when love is our story,